All please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Antoinette, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. Would somebody like to make a motion on the reports?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the code compliance report for June, code enforcement for June, dog control officer for June, and the ECI for April, May, and June. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Could I get a motion on the reports? Or the minutes, rather.
Minutes,
Sorry.
I will make a motion that we approve the town board meeting minutes of June 12th and June 26th, 2019. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I also missed the supervisor.
Yeah, I
report.
did that. I did that, yes. So can I get a motion on the supervisor's report?
So moved.
Do I have a
Motion
second?
to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Someone like to audit the bills?
I'll audit the bills. I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 12, dated June 28, 2019, in the amount of $204,367.02. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would somebody like to make a motion on the budget transfers?
Yes. I will make a motion that on budget transfer request number 17, moving $10,000 from the general repairs contractual in the highway department to miscellaneous contractual in the highway department. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And budget transfer number 18, and move money relative to club court from $3,200 from the contingency account to the parks contractual expense account. Make a motion to approve moving $3,200 there. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Rogan, you're up.
Okay, first item we have is a request to hire Alexis Mark as a new lifeguard for the town of Patterson. I'll make a motion we approve hiring Miss Mark at the prevailing rate as per the budget, and assuming that she completes all of her necessary requirements with our HR department. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item we have is the Warren Beach Pavilion. There's a note from the supervisor that essentially says that due to some adjustments in the pavilion that was done for Warren Beach, there is an additional charge of $204 for a adjustment in the increase of the height of the building. So I will make a motion that we approve the additional charge of $204 to Best in Backyards for the Warren Beach Pavilion. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And it looks very nice.
It does.
But I heard great things.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very impressive.
Oh, okay. All
All right. Next, we have a request from Putt Lake Fire Department to add Yamal Fuller of 10 Venice Road to the to the Putnam Lake Fire Department active membership. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And last is simply an update for the audience and for the public that we had spoken several months ago about a project that will be a great enhancement to the town of Patterson and to the area. It was a boardwalk project that is planned for the Great Swamp. I'm happy to report to the board that we are continuing those discussions and moving forward. We anticipate starting some type of construction this calendar year. This is a coordinated effort, including our partners like the Putnam County Soil and Water Board, Ms. Lori Taylor, who has been instrumental in helping out with this project. We have representatives of Friends of the Great Swamp, and we have our own staff, including our ECI, Ted Kozlowski, and our environmental park caretaker, Rick Ciracelli. So this is a project that we anticipate will be essentially handicap accessible from the parking lot of the environmental park where you can launch canoes or kayaks. We'll go a few hundred feet to an area where we hope to be able to build a platform for bird watching, and we have some additional ideas where it may connect to the existing trail system. So we'll provide not only handicap accessibility for enjoyment of the swamp that currently doesn't exist, but also connectivity to an existing trail system for those that want to continue on and do a little bit of a hike. We're also planning for some areas similar to the dock system that we looked at that we liked so much, that has benches for sitting and enjoying nature. We anticipate partnering with our environmental friends as well as potentially the elementary school for school functions where they'll do environmental education classes where they can stand on a platform, view nature, not only with the wildlife but the birding, but also the aquatic vegetation and the wetland ecology. So this is a project, as I said several months ago, that I am extremely excited about. We are bringing many different revenue streams, not only, as I mentioned, Soil and Water Board has allocated money for this year's budget. We potentially have money within our own budget that we may allocate. We have applied for a substantial grant that we will find out about next month, which I believe was about a $12,000 grant, including some matching in-kind donations. And I believe we also have interest from the Patterson Rotary to possibly donate some funds towards this project. And lastly, Friends of the Great Swamp is going to donate all of the educational signage, not only creating it, but placing it, as well as possibly some pamphlets or brochures. We even spoke about an electronic system where you can use your smartphone, where you can maybe, and this will happen in the future, where you can actually key into like a mini kiosk, and then it downloads to your phone and it tells you what you're viewing. And that's kind of a dream, but that is one potential for utilizing smart technology for our younger generation, so who obviously are tied to their phones. And so a project that I'm really excited about, obviously. I think it's going to be great. I said last time, and I'm pleading again, if anyone knows an Eagle Scout or 2 or 3 who are looking for a project, this would be a great project for them to tag on to and help out with. And it may not even involve them doing any fundraising, but more importantly, being an active participant in building. So stay tuned, but we're hoping that construction will start in the fall once it's cooler and the mosquitoes aren't out and there are no leaves on the trees, and we can really focus on the trail and what needs to occur. So a lot of hard work, but I'm really happy about the consensus building. We had a lot of different ideas at the start of this conversation, and we've been able to bring people together and let the ideas coalesce. And it's working towards, I think, a project that's going to be kind of like a landmark project for Patterson. It's something that we're going to be really proud of at the end, and it'll tie in the tourism that we're so proud of with the different things that we're building here. So I'll keep the board updated, but look forward to a great project. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, first up, along with the improvements, the pavilion that we put out at Warren Beach this year, we also put out some new docks. As we are putting them in the water, we needed to add some additional modifications to the kick plates in the way of grab bars and realignment of the kick plates. And so there was an additional charge for the work of $6,200. We've discussed this before, but we've now got the invoice, so I'd like to approve the additional charge of $6,200 for the kick plates and grab bars for the Warren Beach docks.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this is a little bit of a long-winded and difficult issue, and it's really for Don. So, we have a site on Route 22 down near Watchtower where an applicant came in and received site plan approval to rebuild an existing single-family home into a retail center. He sold the project to somebody else who came in and met with representatives of the town. The individual has a contracting business, and it was made very clear to him at the time that contracting business along Route 22 was not a permitted use, and he assured us all that he was doing a retail operation. He immediately went out there and he put up a 6-foot chain link fence and then tarped the fence over so nobody can see what's going on in the site. Of course, you can still see over the fence, and then moved all his equipment onto the site. He did considerable disturbance out there. I suspect he may have taken all the topsoil off and sold it off, and it still sits out there as bare soil as far as I can see. This was back in 2016. We've been hounding him, trying to get him into compliance, to no avail. He came back to the planning board to get an extension on his site plan. There's a provision in our code that says you have to complete all the site improvements within 1 year if you don't pull a building permit. Otherwise, your site plan is null and void. It expires. The planning board gave him an extension. They gave him an extension up until 2018, but he was supposed to come back into compliance with that extension. He did not. And so today, well, to finish the story, recently he came back for a second extension, and the planning board said, no, you're using it illegally. We're not going to give you any more extensions. The site plan is over. It's done. So he doesn't have a valid site plan out there anymore, and he's still using it as a contractor's yard. Upon learning this, he decided he was going to make a new application to the planning board to try to get him to reconsider either an extension or approve a whole new site plan for him so he could continue to do what he wanted, and then filed an application with the Zoning Board of Appeals seeking an interpretation that the code enforcement officer's determination that the site plan had indeed expired was not valid due to the fact that he's working on the site. Well, he can't be working on the site because his fence is in the way. You know, frankly, I've had enough. The violation is egregious. It's been going on 2.5 years. So what I'm bringing before the board is my recommendation to ask the town attorney to go in to get a temporary injunction to have him remove all the equipment off of the site, to take the fence down that was not shown on the site plan, that is not legally there, and to stabilize the site. That's my recommend. You want a second on that?
Absolutely.
Don, comment?
I think it's an appropriate
Absolutely.
course of action.
Okay, so
I am-
then I'll make a motion to ask the town attorney to get a temporary injunction to remediate the violation for Marco Industries.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One point, which court do we go to?
Supreme Court.
Court in Putnam County. And was that filed today, the zoning board petition? When was that?
No, it was filed 2 weeks ago.
Was it 2 weeks ago?
I believe so.
Okay. So I've seen your correspondence, Rich, and copies of the copies of the violations and informations that had previously issued. I haven't
Okay.
seen that. A threshold issue in going forward for the injunction is going to be whether the filing of the request to the ZBA for the interpretation stays any enforcement proceedings. I know for certain that if it were for variances to address the problems, that it would. I'm not sure off the top of my head if applying for an interpretation does. So we'll do that as a first order of business and
So
advise
he's-
accordingly.
So the interpretation he's asked for is that he still has a valid site plan
It's
for constructing a retail operation out there. That really has nothing to do with the fact he's using it for a contractor's yard.
Understood.
It has nothing to do with the fact that he's had bare soil. Our code and the state code says he needs to stabilize disturbed areas within 7 days of not proceeding with any construction.
Understood.
It's been going on a year, 18 months. So-
I think the course of action is appropriate. I'm just giving you off the top of my head a procedural question that jumped to mind as we were talking about it. So I think we should do that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, last issue on my agenda, last item on my agenda is a resolution for the standard workday for our town justice, Anthony Molay. Be it resolved that the town of Patterson hereby establishes the following standard workday for Anthony Molay, town justice, and will report to the officials of the New York State and local retirement based on their record of activities. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mary, you're up.
We have only one recreation request and
2 parts.
2 parts, yes. I'm going to talk about the softball league. Matt Chabaro has gotten the softball league at the Cornwall Hill Ball Field together again. I think that's a great thing. I know they had that for, yeah, the Cornwall Hill Ball Field. The fee per team will be $1,000. He has currently now 8 interested teams for the season. They should be starting in August and ending in October, and Butch Jacobson will be volunteering and assisting Matt with the league. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the softball league to be $1,000 per team. and to start in August and end in October, taking place at the Cornwall Hill Ball Field. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This one, go ahead.
Oh, do you have another one? 'Cause I don't have that.
Yeah.
I think that's on yours. All right, I looked at it.
Sorry.
That's all right. The top page of this memo, Matt is informing us that he has three, Adriana Palmero, Jason Van Shafton, Justin Boswell, and Matt Chabarro Jr. have valid first aid and CPR certifications. They're required to have these certifications by the New York State Department of Health to have staff trained in first aid and CPR, and they should be available for all camp hours. So Matt is indicating that it would be necessary to schedule them for more than the customary 17.5 hours for part-time employees during the camp season. Now, does that run us into any violation with part-time versus full-time health
I
benefits?
don't believe
or-
it does as long as we stay under 29.
Okay. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the Patterson Rec Department to use the four named, what are they, camp counselors, more than 17.5 hours a week during the camp season. So,
But not more than 29.
but not more than 29. Yes, thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I don't have this, but I do remember reading this email. So did we make an error when we approved Cassidy Speller to fill in as a supervising guard on her shift? Because this is didn't we approved this the last agenda?
Did we approve it the last agenda?
Yes, and I believe that, because it was on my agenda, and I believe that I had stated that we would approve her to receive the supervising guard rate when she filled in as a supervising guard on shift.
I believe you're right.
The
Yeah.
memo came in last meeting. It was on last agenda,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah, and that's why, and I saw this email after our meeting, and I said, well, maybe was there an error? And then I didn't believe there was. But
Do we have that documented? That was the question. We didn't have anything showing it, right? Okay.
all right, so I'll make a motion to approve. We'll do it again, right?
Yeah, do it again.
To make sure that we have it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just the copy, make
Okay.
it easier.
To approve Cassidy Speller to receive the supervisory guard rate of $16.90 per hour when she is filling in as a supervising guard shift. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Been terrible if it failed this time.
Yeah. And I'd say, no, nobody listens to me when I talk.
That's right. What?
I'm so used to that. Okay, what do we have next? Oh, the Putnam Lake Park District bubbler. So, it looks like what I have here is 3 price quotes from Amazon?
Well,
Or is this one?
you want me to jump in here a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, so we are struggling and desperately trying to keep the beaches open in Putnam Lake. It's turning out to be a challenging year again, like it was last year. One of the things that has been promoted often to get rid of algae and particulates in the water column, is putting aeration in. And we certainly can't aerate the whole lake with what we've got in the budget. It would be cost prohibitive, but it may have some benefit if we tried doing some aeration at Warren Beach. So what I did is I printed out a number of different air diffusers. The top one is my recommendation to the board, that we could try something out at Warren Beach. It's cheap money. I've talked with Hank Earl, who's park chairman. He agrees. If for nothing else, it will mix the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw 4th of July weekend, we're seeing some troubling signs out on the lake. We took the motorboat out, and Hank was good enough to run the motorboat around the lake for about 3 hours, and we saw a marked difference
I heard he was smiling the whole time.
Oh, he was having a good time,
That's great.
but he was hot.
So would this run 24/7?
No,
Yeah.
I would
it-
not.
I think you should, just as long as it's not in the swim area. Just put them slightly outside the swim area.
We can work on the logistics
Yeah.
later on. My concern with 24/7 is the swimmers out there and having to pump out there.
Well, I think we'll talk about the logistics. I think we can figure it out so that they're on all the time and in a safe location, so they don't an attractive nuisance. Because you can't obviously have them within an area of people swimming because it could be an
Yeah.
entrapment hazard or entangling or something else.
Well,
So,
also, it's kind of lures the kids in to go
Yeah.
over to it, because it looks like
I mean,
a
unless you can
sprinkler.
just put them in, leave them running overnight, and then before they shift, open for the lifeguards, literally move them and push them outside the swim area.
That might work.
Yeah.
Because my concern is those docks hold that water in,
Yeah,
and if we don't move that water within the docks, it's just gonna get,
totally agree. We need
murky soup.
More motorboating.
More motorboating, definitely.
I'll volunteer.
That is not a tacit approval.
That's, we have a volunteer who has,
So the one,
I'll volunteer to take the motorboat out.
Talk to Hank, you got my blessing. All right, so you want to try something like this? You want to order it from Amazon?
let's just
think
say,
so.
if it doesn't work for some reason in Putt Lake, we could always do a transfer budgetary and transfer it to the other park district who already uses them, and we're replacing them from time to time. So
That's
it's not a
true.
loss to the town.
That is
We
a
just shift
great
the
point.
money, shift the numbers.
so you're purchasing two?
Well, I was just
Or is-
recommending purchasing the one.
The one, okay. And comes with two. Okay, so the one you're recommending is the one we'll approve. So I'd make a motion to approve the purchase of the pond and lake aeration system, half horsepower compressor, and the 100-foot weighted tubing and 2 diffusers in the amount of $599.99.
Cheap.
So moved.
It's cheap.
Plus shipping.
Plus shipping, free shipping.
Free shipping.
That's great.
Trust me, it's never free with Amazon
Well,
in town.
Monday
For
is
Prime
Prime
members.
Day, so.
Are we Prime members?
No, we are not.
Isn't Monday Prime Day? Doesn't everybody get Prime?
We
on
have
Monday?
a business account with Amazon, so we can't do the Prime.
Oh,
So,
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
okay.
Aye.
Great.
All right.
Oh, I have one last that I thought that we were going to table.
We are tabling it.
Oh, well Denise is here.
Still
Do you want to
table.
discuss this tonight? Okay.
Okay, all right, so we had a conference request for the EMS training, which at this time we're going to table. I guess Denise is not prepared to give us the full understanding of the requested training, so we'll give her time to get all that together and give us the specifics on the request for the training. Thank you. And I'm all done.
Peter, you're up.
Okay, first item I have is IMA, the Patterson Fire Department. So we started this discussion last week about moving the ambulance from the Putt Lake Firehouse to the Patterson Firehouse. So the Patterson Fire Department reached out to us and invited us to come over and keep our ambulance at the Patterson Firehouse until we construct our EMS headquarters, which will probably be less than a year at most. So, Putt Lake has been very generous in allowing us to house our ambulance there and giving us that room and for the last couple of years, and we really thank them for doing it. But it'd be great if we could share the wealth a little bit and move it over to Patterson and keep there. I think one good thing, so I discussed this with our EMS administrator, and one plus is it's closer to the plaza at Clover Lake, which is most of our call volume. So is it about half?
About 34%.
About 34. I mean, is it about half of response time? Does it cut the response time at about a half or about?
No, about 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, so 4 or 5 minutes is a lot when someone's in cardiac arrest or even someone lying on the ground who fell. So I think it would be better. It's closer to where we're going to have it anyway, so it would be so. So we have a resolution here. We also have, if you look at the back of the packet, part of the resolution towards the back, there's, which I really liked, was there were a lot of good rules about parking, access to the building for our EMTs, smoking building use, and so on. So I think it's well laid out. The rules are well laid out, so it spells out pretty much what we're expected while we're there as guests. So I'd like to make a motion to accept the resolution as read, to move our town EMS over to the Patterson Firehouse until our EMS building is completed. So moved.
Second.
Just for the board's edification, we did receive comments back. I received comments from Charles, and I received comments from the chief of the Patterson Fire Department. They're incorporated in here, the underlined sections. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
The chapter.
Okay, so next are bunk beds. So since we agreed to move the ambulance over to the Patterson Firehouse, we need some sleeping quarters for our EMTs when they have the overnight shifts and when they have downtime. You know, I think when they were at Putt Lake, they had a very, very tiny room, and they had some couches and some chairs that they kind of slept on. And if you've ever tried sleeping on a couch or a chair, it's not very comfortable. And you know, I want our EMTs well rested, so if there is an emergency at 3 or 4 in the morning, at least they got a couple of Z's in and they're refreshed, so they're not having a stiff neck driving down the road. So we have some quotes here on some bunk beds, different types of bunk beds. I was looking over with them with Rich. Some of them were a little cheap, and it looks like the bottom bunk is almost on the floor. This one, the one that's $250, $294. Looks like it's probably the best. Did you have any recommendations of which bunk beds you wanted to purchase, Denise? Or
No, I didn't really care, as long as it was gonna be sturdy enough to hold their weight, and all of them were adult bunk beds. And we already have mattresses, so all we need is the actual frame of the bed system itself.
okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve $300, not to exceed $300, to purchase a set of bunk beds for our new EMS quarters.
Does that include the connection to the shock collar so that when the call comes in, they get jolted out of bed? You know,
We haven't needed those yet.
not yet. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, now that we're still on EMS, there was a problem with one of our stretchers. I have a memo from our EMS administrator, Denise Montana, that one of our Stryker stretchers, the control board fried, the computer on the control board fried, so you know, we had to put the ambulance out of service. It's something that has to be fixed, so it was repaired, so we could put that ambulance back in service. So the total cost was $1,768.37. Now it's out of warranty since we've had it for a while, so I'll make a motion to approve the $1,768.37 for the emergency purchase. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. That is all I have.
Okay.
Charles?
Next, we have EMS committee. Last meeting, we appointed 3 folks to serve on an EMS committee, along with Councilman Pete to be the liaison. One thing we didn't do, and we had to get confirmation on, was to get a chairperson for this little group, and we have that person. The supervisor spoke with him, and he confirmed that he's more than willing to chair this committee. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve Joe Buck-Anano
Yep.
as chairperson of the EMS committee. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good job, Charlie.
I'll show you something later.
Oh, no.
We have received a audit report from our comptroller, who did audits of the various town departments, and lots of people came out good. Some recommendations for improvements, as always. I think we have to keep an eye on the town planner in that area there, that, you know, things, they fulfill their obligation. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve the Comptroller's annual audit report for the fiscal year of 2018. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Charles will jump right on that, making sure the town planner toes the line.
Please do, Mr. Supervisor. And executive session, we'll do that after the meeting, after the regular meeting.
Are we done?
I just, well, yeah. I have a quick question, if I may.
Sure.
We received this notification from DEC about them purchasing land. So, and then they talk about, as with other state lands acquired for public use in Putnam County, these lands will be subject to taxation for all purposes. Boom, boom, boom. Do they actually get a tax bill?
Yes.
And so what the town determines is the taxes?
so.
The
That's-
assessment on raw, undeveloped land.
I should be asking Coach back there.
Well, it's not, it would really be
I
the
don't
assessor.
know, it comes in, does it come in through you, Mary?
Who was that again?
State of New York.
DEC.
Has acquired land, and they
all
say,
the-
we pay taxes as usual
The state lands that come through the county.
through the county. Okay. I'm gonna give you this just to
They
keep
make
an eye.
payments, but they go through the county.
Okay, that's it.
They're our largest taxpayer, I believe, aren't they, in the county?
I think New York City DEP is the
Oh,
largest
right, that's what I
taxpayer.
was thinking of. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. This is only really for the people here, because it won't air.
Okay. Any other business?
None. It's only for the 6 people
Just that,
here,
yeah.
because it won't air.
No, it's true.
I think it was
Okay.
mentioned last night.
I think it was too.
Yeah.
Paul, you have something you want to talk about?
Yeah.
All right, public recognition. Does any member of the public wish to be recognized? Please. Sean was suggesting
We did it last time, and I said it's only for these people, because it'll be over before.
Karen Powers from Patterson Library. We have a lot of really nice programs for both adults and children that are going to take place this summer. I'd like to talk about just a few of them. The first one is on Tuesday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. And we have a gentleman named Kevin Manning, who was formerly a consultant for NASA, coming in, and he will give you a tour of the galaxy in his indoor presentation.
When is that? When is that again?
That is on Tuesday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. And then afterward, he'll follow up with an outdoor view of the sky, the night sky. Let's hope it's clear. Another program that's going to take place in August, on August 15th, is our summer concert in the Patterson Library Park. Jerry Costanzo and his quartet will be there to sing melodies that are familiar to all of us from the Great American Songbook. The rain place will be the Patterson Recreation Center. Then on Wednesday, August 21st at 1 p.m., we have a program where you can come, children and adults, to pick vegetables from the library's garden, and then come inside to cook them up into recipes that have been given by the Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's really great.
And I'll give these posters to Antoinette, and maybe she can have somebody post them downstairs.
Excellent.
Thank you. Can you speak for a moment? I've spoken to more people about the passes to the libraries, which I haven't used in the different events, but can you just mention that again? Because I still think that's awesome.
Yes, we have museum passes, which means that we pay, actually for some of them, we pay over $1,000 a year. That's the Museum of Natural History. That's the most expensive one. We pay in order for our clients to be able to go to these museums without having to pay the entrance fee. The entrance fees have gotten pretty steep. $25 to get into the Metropolitan Museum of Art, for example. We've added a couple of new ones. The one that I'm thinking about now is the Edward Hopper Museum over in Nyack. We have a pass for that now, and that's been added. I think there have been a couple of others added as well.
Is that on the website? Which passes are available on the library website?
Yes, I would go to pattersonlibrary.org and check on the calendar. And they, not on the calendar, no, the museum passes. They talk about the museum passes. I'm not sure if it actually lists everything. But we do have a folder on that, and I really should bring it in because you've asked about these a number of times.
I still haven't used them, but I talk to people all the time about those passes because a family of 4 or 5 people, if you go into the museum, that's a big day. It's like going to a ball game.
$125 in savings, yeah.
It's huge. So I think it's great that you're doing that.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure people actually are knowing about it to use them.
Right. We've been doing it for years.
Yeah. No, I didn't know until I think last year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's hope that people know about it and that they come in, and we'll try and give out those pamphlets about it and see whether we can get more people to come in. There was also a question that your television man had one time when I was here about whether you could do repeat passes. In other words, if you had already gone to the Museum of Natural History in 1 year, in a single year, and you wanted to go again within that year, there was a rule that said you couldn't do that you couldn't use a museum pass twice in the same year. However, in reality, it's not really true. If the pass is just sitting there and nobody has taken it out, then of course, just come in and ask for it. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you
That's
so
good.
much.
Thank you. Excellent.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the update.
Anyone else?
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chance.
Happy
Bruce.
July, everyone.